Welcome back to The Golden Thread, Lessons from Classic TV. I'm your host, Bob. These are brought to you by the Classic TV Preservation Society, founded by Herbie J. Plata. There are certain kinds of days that don't feel like days. They feel like a doorway. You wake up inside them, and something is different. Nothing you can point to at first, but you can feel it in the air. The light hits the room with a strange honesty. Voices sound a little farther away. The world keeps moving, but you're suddenly aware it has an edge. And maybe that's why some stories land so hard. Not because they're loud, but because they tell the truth quietly. In this one, two young men are moving through America the way so many of us do when we're trying to find ourselves, by staying in motion. Newtown, New York. New faces, new little temporary lives. They're in Butte, Montana, working hard labor down in the mines. Men whose hands and backs are starting to carry the weight of the road. And then, right in the middle of that grit, that soot, that ordinary struggle, something rare walks into the room. A woman who doesn't belong there, and yet somehow does. Not because she's perfect, because she's real. Because you can feel that she's carrying something. Sometimes you meet people like that. They're smiling, they're talking, they're fine, but their eyes are elsewhere. Like they're listening to a clock nobody else can hear. And one of the men, Buzz, he gets pulled in fast. Not in a silly way and not in a shallow way. In the way that happens when you meet someone and your insides go quiet for a second. Like your life recognizes a turning point before your mind does. Now here's where the thread begins. Because the easy kind of love, the kind we're taught to chase, is built on assumptions. Assumptions that there will be time, that there will be a later, that there will be enough chances that if we mess it up, we can fix it next week. But real love, the kind that changes you, doesn't always come with those comforts. Sometimes love shows up and doesn't offer you a long runway. Sometimes love gives you a moment and says, "Do you know what to do with this right now?" And the truth underneath this story, the golden thread hiding inside it, is this. Love becomes sacred when it stops bargaining with time. Because when time feels endless, we treat people like they're part of the scenery. We'll say the kind thing later. We'll be brave later. We'll call later. We'll apologize later. We'll stop being stubborn later. And later becomes a graveyard of words that never got spoken. But when you meet someone whose life is fragile, or when a situation suddenly reminds you that nothing is guaranteed, you stop bargaining. You stop pretending. You stop saving the best of yourself for a future that may never arrive. You show up. And it doesn't mean you become dramatic. It means you become honest. You become present. There's a kind of romance in this story, yes, but I'm not even talking about romance. I'm talking about what happens when the heart wakes up. When you realize that love is not a feeling you wait for. It's a way you live. It's a choice you make with your hands, your words, your attention. And Buzz, he's facing something most people try not to look at. He's falling for someone who's living with an ending. And that does something to a person. It scrapes away the childish part of us that thinks life is arranged around our plans. It forces the soul to grow up in a hurry. Because what do you do when you care and you can't control the outcome? Most people try to protect themselves from that question. They'll avoid the person. They'll keep it shallow. They'll act cool. They'll disappear. They'll tell themselves that it's not worth the pain. But love doesn't ask, is this painless? Love asks, is this real? And here comes the quiet courage that this story honors. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is love someone anyway. I know this is going to speak to a few of you particularly. Not because you're guaranteed a happy ending, but because you refuse to live like your heart is a hostage to fear. Because you'd rather be the kind of person who shows up fully than the kind of person who stays safe and stays empty. And listen, this isn't just about death. It's about loss in every form. Because all of us, sooner or later, meet some version of this truth. A friend moves away and you don't know if you'll ever be that close again. A parent ages and suddenly you can hear the clock. A relationship changes and you realize the old version of it is gone. A child grows up and you can't rewind the years. Or a season ends and you didn't notice the last day was the last day. So the thread isn't be sad. The thread is stop waiting to be loving. Stop waiting to be gentle. Stop waiting to be honest. And stop waiting to be the person you keep promising you'll become soon. Because soon is a spell. It makes us sleepwalk through the miracle. And this story, you all need to watch it. This story asks us quietly but firmly, are you going to sleepwalk or are you going to live?
Walking down the lanes of
Now there's another
yesterday,
thread in here too,
where
one that matters
laughter
just as much.
echoes and hearts
Because
don't
while one
stray.
man falls
A
fast,
simple world.
the other, Todd, carries the heavier knowledge. And this is a truth the world doesn't teach very well. Sometimes love means holding what someone else can't hold alone. Not fixing it, not preaching, and not making speeches. Just being steady, being present, being the kind of friend who doesn't run from the hard thing. It's not easy to do this because it is easy to be someone's friend when life is simple. But when life gets sharp, when the truth is heavy, that's when friendship becomes sacred. That's when someone's presence becomes a lifeline. And I want to say something here that I think a lot of people need. If you're the one who's carrying the heavier truth right now, if you're the one who sees what's coming, if you're the one trying to keep it together while everyone else is laughing, you are not weak. You are not too much. And you are not overly sensitive. You are just awake. And being awake is sometimes lonely. But it's also holy. Because awake people love differently. They don't waste time on petty cruelty, and they don't treat kindness like a luxury, and they don't put off what matters. They become the kind of person who understands that the point is not to live forever. The point is to live truly while you're here. So what do we do with this? Here's the invitation that the story leaves in our lap like a note you find later in your pocket. Act like time is precious because it is. Not in a panicked way, but in a loving way. Say what you mean, call who you miss, forgive what you've been gripping, Stop punishing people with silence. Stop saving tenderness for a better time. I have problems with this myself, guys. And if someone is in your life right now, someone you love, someone you keep assuming will always be there, treat them like you understand what a miracle they are. Because one day, without warning, you'll have a last conversation, a last ride, a last laugh, and you won't get to go back and add the warmth you withheld. So put it in now. Put it in while it's alive. Put it in while you can still look into their face and let them feel it. That's the thread. Not tragedy, not romance, and not nostalgia. The thread is presence. The thread is courage. The thread is loving like time isn't promised, because it isn't. And if you live that way, even a little more than you did yesterday, you'll stop missing so many dances that you didn't realize were happening, because you'll finally be in the room, fully there and fully awake and fully loving. And that is the real inheritance of the road. Thank you, guys. Thank you for listening to me. I know this was a long one, but it's been on my mind, and this was a wonderful episode to see. It's like it just called out to me. So go seek it out. Find it. It's on Roku. I'll talk to you soon. Love you. Have a great day.